Hello, hello. Is it on? I hope this is on. I hope this is working. Oh god, it would be so awkward if it wasn't. Hello, hello. Alright, good. You can't hear me. Thank god. Alright, welcome, welcome. Hope you guys are doing all nice and well today. It's working. Yes, yes. Okay, good, 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 good. Hello, hello. Haha, I have everything set up beforehand. But, welcome on in, everybody. I hope you are having a good one today. Quite literally today, it's just gonna be me yapping about my hyperfixations, which is TTRPGs. I'm not joking. What's these USD? I spent. How much is that in USD? Okay, wait, 35 euros to USD. That's $40. I sent you 42. That should cover it, right, love? All right, so let me open up your PayPal. Okay, let's see. Send. Oh, I have to log in. All right, wait, let me log in real quick. Oh, wrong password. Must be this one. There we go. Okay, all logged in. Let's see, what's this for? Valorant addiction restarting. Okay, I send $41. Okay, okay, I will. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. Oh my goodness, you're so cute, love. Unironically, I do have PayPal open though, so I can send it to you. I can. Also, I would have to send you $42 actually. Yeah, I have to be 42. Close enough. This is what happens when you have a partner whose love language is gift giving, okay? Gift giving and physical intimacy and words of affirmation, top 3. Those are 3 things I love to give and 3 things I also love to receive. But anyway, so today's gonna be quite literally just me yapping about my hyperfixations, which are TTRPGs. Because as you guys know, sometimes in streams, if I come up with a really stupid build or something like that, I'm kind of just like, oh, gotta talk about this on stream now. And usually that leads to me just yapping for a while. So, yeah. But I figured maybe do something a little bit nice where it's just me kind of talking about it for a stream. Especially since I don't really know what I'm going to play next since we finished Active Gale of Darkness. I do need to start actually editing some videos for Coliseum and XD because I wanted to make those into videos. But maybe as time goes on, maybe I'll swap over to starting to make the script for it. Because I do want to do a voiceover, and you know, with a voiceover you kind of need a script. So we'll see how that goes. But let me see, because I also currently do have both the Fabula Ultima and D&D handbooks opened, and I might also open Path Builder. I might also want to talk about Pathfinder builds and stuff like that, because I am completely just utterly obsessed with this shit. Do 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 do. Okay. Also, as time goes on, I will be changing the music to something more soft. Actually, I could probably do that right now. But I don't want to be too soft. I don't want me yapping just to immediately cause everyone to sleep. Okay. So, I mean, I could quite literally just stay in here to be fair. Like, I... One second. Okay, there we go. No, no fucking resident sleeper type shit. Fuck you. But honestly, I probably could just stay on this screen the whole time and kind of just talk. I mean, I probably would need... God damn it, Apollo. Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay. Okay, guys, she'll use her yapping powers to put you to sleep. Look, okay, it's not my fault if you fall asleep. That's all on you, okay? Not on me at all. Okay. Let me get window capture. Not Bongo Cat. This. Honestly, I don't even know if you guys could see it without me like expanding this to be ridiculous size, actually. So maybe it would just be better for me to go into the other thing. Maybe. I mean, I kind of already do sort of have it set up. But I probably also kind of want to change it from display capture to just screen capture. I think that probably would be better, so let me fix that. Window. Not Bongo Cat, what the fuck? There we go. Okay, and then if I change, yeah, it still works. Alright, we're good. You're also in mod views with this regard. Your opinion, though, always matters. Okay? Opinions matter. You know what? Here, wait. I'll do this. I have a big idea. Because I need you guys to be able to see this. I will purposely, actually, I could cut off some of the like sections and then just zoom in even more. That probably would work, actually. So then we'll do this, that, and zoom in more. Transform. And not that size. Size does matter here. Can't see him. Getting cussed out by Barry. I cuss out everyone. What? It should not be that much of a fucking surprise to you guys. Like, what? Okay, this should be fine, actually. Let me also see if I swap over to this. Ooh, okay. You guys can still see it. And then if I go thumbnail, oh god, not that. Might be a bit too big. And then this, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'll just leave it like this for now since we're starting with D&D. Let me move this down. There we go. Okay, okay. Shut the fuck up, Apollo. Yeah, sweetie, you do need other stuff than your little Valorant thing. Also, I could pay for that for you later, like... Hi, Storm, how are you? Okay. So, some stuff that I wanted to yap about today. My favorite streamers. Wait, shush. You, like... I don't know if I am that caliber to be called anyone's favorite streamer. I don't know, that's just me, that's just me. But, something I wanted to kind of yap about were just, like, character ideas that I had in general. That's the last time she's spending any money on. Gift her otherwise. I mean, I do owe you food, so... Gonna have to be gifting you that soon. For you doing such a great job, and for being the best girl. But, okay. So, what was I gonna talk about? I don't know, I got distracted by my amazing girlfriend. I'm trying to remember what I was gonna talk about. Fuck. Okay. I actually kind of do want to start with Fabiola. Don't stick your tongue out at me. Alright, wait. Let me do this. I turned the robot. Heck. Haha. Okay, this. So now Fabiola Ultima, as some of you guys have heard me talk about on stream, has very recently become one of my fastest growing hyperfixations, and that's genuinely mostly in part just due to how the builds work in this game. Because I did talk about it a little bit, and the thing with Fabiola Ultima is that this game forces you to multi-class. This game like requires it actually that you start with a multi-class in your character. You start at level 5, because I know I talked about it a bit, but I'm just gonna talk about it a little bit more. You start at level 5 and you have to start with 2 multi-classes, so 2 classes for your character. You could divvy up the levels 4-2, 2-3, 4-1, but also you can have a 3rd class, so you can have like 3-1-1, 2-2-1, for instance. And it's that kind of flexibility that I actually really like from it, because it forces you to just come up with unique mixes. Like OMG1, what? But like, I'm having a brain fart again. It makes you, kind of just make a character based around what you want to do and fit multiple roles rather than just fit one, Unlike D&D, where the game hard punishes you when you diversify, this game rewards you for diversifying and encourages it, because every single class can go up to level 10, but your total level is 50. The thing is, this game does have a limit to how many classes you can multi-class in at once. You can only have 3 unmastered classes at a time, which means, what do you call it? A unmastered class is a class that's not level 10. A mastered class is a class that is level 10. So basically you can have 3 unmastered classes, then the moment you master one class, you can add another unmastered class. That's kind of how it goes. So you're basically gonna have 5 classes. You could go for more technically, because if you have 4 mastered classes, that's level 40, you still have 10 levels, so you can technically go into the other classes still. It's not like you can only do 5 classes. No, you can literally go into technically every single class in the game if you're smart enough with your level deviation. Shavox, you know what? I need to take a sip of water for this. There we go. That point redeem was as useless as you can be in Marvel Rivals. Don't know why you ended up wasting those points right there. Anyway, so I could be a mage. You actually can. I'm not even joking. You could be a mage and an assassin. Okay. Well, hey, Shavash redeemed the insult, okay? And it is known that whenever I insult someone, it's never true. So, shush. Shush. But, so, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so you literally can combine magic classes with martial classes. You can combine magic classes with other magic classes. You could just go pure martial, pure spellcaster. You could even technically just go full utility or full support. You don't really need to, take a full, one side pretty much. And one thing that I also kind of like is how this game's stat system is. It's actually relatively simple. Where is it? It's a few pages here. There we go. So with this game, you have profiles. So instead of having the normal point system like D&D, where, strength could be 18, dex 10, con 14, stuff like that, you instead have these dice profiles. So your stats are represented by dice size. For instance, for the Jack of all trades style, which is right here. Whoops. No! Highlighting stuff. There we go. Highlighting stuff is tricky sometimes. So for instance, Jack of all trades, you could literally just set all of your stats to D8s. The average, you could set 1 to D10, 1 to D6, and the other 2 to D8, or specialized, 2 D10s and 2 D6s. So basically, whatever die you set that attribute is going to be the die that you roll for any check that involves that stat. So for instance, let's say you have a D8 into your dexterity. Dexterity measures precision, coordination, finesse, and reflexes. You have a D8 there, and then you have a D10 into might. Argument's sake. All checks utilize 2 stats. So for instance, a DM, if we're trying to, let's see, what would be an interesting use of both dexterity and might at the same time? Because it's strength and coordination. So I guess if you're trying to jab something into like a really tiny hole, that's what she said. Anyway, so you might roll dexterity plus might, and then that is your total stat, or your total point total for the check. So you would roll the d10 plus a d8. So that means you could hit a maximum of 18, but a low point of 2. And basically exactly what this game says, bigger die sizes indicate a more trained attribute or a stronger natural talent. And obviously having a d6 is the lowest you can go, but also this game, the HP and MP, because in this game you have mind points, not mana points. This game has mind points, scale off of your willpower and your might die. So for instance, your HP is whatever your current level is, plus 5 times your might die. So what do you call it? So for instance, we can even use the example down here of an example character they use. Camilla's not particularly imposing. They have a might size of d6. And since you start at level 5 in this game, that's going to be 5 plus 5 times 6, because the high point of your might die is 6, and then any additional bonuses. So she's starting at 35. And what do you call it? If a class has any kind of bonus, she can add more HP to it. So for instance, one of the classes that she took was the Weapon Master, which gives an additional 5 HP, so she was at 40. Since she has a d8 willpower, it follows the same thing. Your level plus 5 times that die size, so d8, so it would be 5 times 4, so 40. And then also, I think their example character, takes an Orator class, which is kind of like a bard, sort of. So because of that, they're gonna have 50 total mind points. So they could use a lot of abilities and magic, essentially. And also this game, I know in D&D, they have a status called Bloodied, which is when you're at like half health. And this game has something like that too. It's called Crisis. Crisis is when you're at half health. So for their example character with 40 max hit points, Crisis would be 20. There are some abilities in this game that will only activate if you're in Crisis. So because of that, knowing what your Crisis score is and playing around that can be useful depending on what class you're playing. And then also, in this game, there's no proper inventory. Instead, what you have is inventory points. So with inventory points, you can spend those to just pull some bullshit out of your bag. So you start with 6 inventory points, and you can't gain any more unless said so by a class or by an item. And this allows you to just yoink something out of your bag that's completely bullshit. Oh no, all of a sudden I need a potion because I'm low in health. I'm gonna spend, I think in this game it's like 2 for a basic healing potion. I'm gonna spend 2 inventory points. Yoink! There's my potion. Because the inventory points represent your preparedness, essentially. And also your inventory points are your supplies. So in order to replenish your inventory points, you have to spend the currency that you collect in this game to replenish your inventory points, and that's essentially you just gaining supplies. Honestly, I love the inventory points method because it does mean that you don't need to purposely purchase anything in particular. Try saying that 5 times fast. Don't need to particularly purchase anything in particular. Holy shit, that sounds like a tongue twister. But yeah, so because of that, it allows that more versatile kind of just management, which this game has a lot of. And you'll notice something I like a lot. The fact that this game has a lot of versatility is just so nice. But yeah, so that's kind of how the die thing goes. Perpendicularly in particular. Jeez. I really do sound like a fucking dork when I talk, don't I? But yeah, so your stat die also, due to outlier sources, can increase to a d12 as well. And that's the maximum that you can have, which is really nice. That's cute, you're so cute. Shut up. Shush. Shabak, shush. Whatever. Ugh. Anyway, what do you call it? For defense scores in this game, your defense is equal to your current dexterity die size. And, shush, love. Please don't shush, but oh my goodness. Don't fucking get me flustered. But yeah, so your defense is equal to your current dexterity die size. So if it's a D10, it's a 10, but it's not 100% going to be your dex die all the time. There are certain armors that you can buy that just outright replace your defense, so you don't have to worry about dexterity. And then your magic defense is equal to your insight die size. So dexterity and insight is important. Might's also important though, because the higher damaging weapons all require might, and some of the more consistent and stronger weapons require might. And willpower is used for using abilities, so all four of them are important. And you have to make sure that you actually plan ahead with your character and know what you want out of your character, so that way you can build around it. And also there are shields and things like that that you can get to increase your defense, which obviously if you're playing the tank of your team, she sells seashells by the seashore. Fuck you. But yeah, so what do you call it? Yeah, you can get shields, which increase your defense, your magic defense, depending, and I'll get all into that later. So also your initiative modifier, no matter what, will stick at 0 unless you have an item or an ability that changes it. And let me see. Okay. Also, when creating your character, you have a budget of 500 zenith, which is the currency in the game, so it doesn't use bronze, silver, gold, or platinum. It's just zenith. That's it. You get 500 zenith to purchase your starting equipment. You can only get the basic gears. You can't get anything advanced unless your game master gives it to you. And anything that's marked with a red star, as you can kind of see right here, those are all martial stuff, which means you need proficiency in that in order to actually equip it. And the classic tongue hey, look, I can say it, okay? She sells seashells by the seashore. See? The secret to tongue twisters is opening up your mouth wide when you talk. Like, what do you call it? Like, I know the Peter Piper tongue twister. I could probably say that actually, maybe. Honestly, I'll probably butcher the whole thing, but it's like, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Did Peter Piper pick a peck of pickled peppers? If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? You just have to open up your mouth all the way. That's it. Pause. Editor destroyer. Shut the fuck up. I do curse a lot on stream. Holy. Rue is right. Alright. So. What do you call it? You use the 500 zenith to purchase your basic equipment, and also if you want to purchase rare items or transport, discuss it with the rest of your group. So, and one thing that this game also greatly encourages is like flavoring your gear. They even say it right here. Like, the weapon master class allows Camilla to equip martial melee weapons and shields. What do you call it? The person that's creating the character's name is Robert, noting how her armor and shield increase defense by 3 points, but also give her initiative modifier of -1. Needless to say, you are free to alter the name of any item that doesn't fit your character's concept. For instance, your bronze sword might become a scimitar, or your silk vest might become a kimono. So because of that, the game heavily incentivizes you to like flavor your stuff to fit your character, which I think is really cool. And also, outside of your purchasing equipment goal or zenith, you can roll for initial savings. So you roll 2d6 times 10. So if you roll an 8 total, you get an additional 80 zenith to start the game with. So, and then any gold or zenith, I'm gonna keep saying gold, any zenith you have left over from purchasing equipment also comes over to your initial savings. Okay, and also I will talk about what Fabiola points can do later, because I'm kind of just yapping about character stuff right now. But also, so these are all the basic weapons that you can purchase Also, thanks for the advice. My favorite tongue twisters. No problem. Yeah, like, it's genuinely... It really does help a lot. Obviously, you're still gonna struggle at times, but it happens. Like, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Like, just open your mouth all the way, that's fine. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair, Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very fuzzy Wuzzy. That's another one that I actually like saying a lot. Tongue twisters are not that hard once you actually know like little secrets for it. But anyway, so here are the basic weapons that you could purchase. As you can see for the cost, it's all very similar in costs, ranging from 100 to 250. And you'll see here the accuracy modifier. Every weapon requires 2 rolls for accuracy checks. So for instance, in the arcane category, you have a staff or tomb. The staff requires 2 willpower dice. So if you have a d8, you're rolling 2 d8s for your accuracy. If you have a d10, you're rolling 2 d10. And then for bow category, you have a crossbow and short bow. The crossbow requires both your dex and your insight die, whereas a short bow requires dex and dex. So you're rolling your dex twice. And then for instance, a lot of dex-based melees, you are going to notice, besides the chain whip, which is a 2-handed dex weapon, for spear, dex and might, or for swords, dex and might, dex and insight, or for shurikens, a throwing weapon, dex and insight. That's the one major downside with going dexterity. The fact that unless you get like a short bow or you go 2-handed chain whip, you're going to need a good insight or a good might die to make your weapons work. There are outliers for this, which I will get into later, but for the most part, as you can see, might weapons here, iron hammer, broad axe, war axe, might plus might, might plus might, might plus might. These make these hit more consistent because all you need is that d10 into might. Meanwhile, for stuff like the katana, the rapier, the greatsword, and the broadsword, unless you go specialized and take 2d6s, you're going to be rolling a d8 and a d10. You're not going to be able to roll 2 d10s unless what I'm going to talk about later comes into play. So, but this does, what do you call it? I'm not saying that one Welsh town. No, thank you. But, unironically though, the dex and insight requirement can actually come into use here because there are some classes that you want like a good insight for, and dexterity might be your secondary stat, and because of that, you're still gonna kind of want a weapon. So having a dex plus insight weapon can still be pretty good, you know? And you'll also notice some weapons like the swords and the dagger also has a +1 on their to hit accuracy. Leicester? Huh? Is that how you say it? Leicester? How do you pronounce Leicester? I don't know if that's correct. I might be wrong on that. Could be Leicester. No, pronounced Leicester? Is that a Finnish place? Is that a Finnish place, love? Leicester. I can see that. Actually, I can kind of see that. Because the UK is messed up. Yeah, completely understandable. I'm gonna be drinking a lot of water during this. I'm so sorry. Okay, so another thing is you'll notice the damage for these weapons range between 0 for unarmed strike to 14. So probably wondering what that HR means. It's the high roll of your accuracy. So let's say for crossbow, we're already doing 8 damage on a hit. So our attack hits no matter what. Let's just say that we do 8 damage minimum. Let's say for our dex, we rolled a 4 because we're using a d8 dex and a d10 insight. For the dex, we roll 4. For the insight, we rolled a 9. Argument's sake. That 9 from the insight becomes the high roll. So it's 9 plus 8, so we're doing 17 damage total. That's what the HR means. It's just the high roll of what your accuracy is. So for instance, that's also why stuff like the heavy category with the iron hammer, the broad axe, and the war axe, and also the short bow, the chain whip, can be such consistently damaging weapons because of the fact for this is might plus might, so you're going to be using 2d10s, so you have that higher chance of getting more damage, because already 2d10s on average should be equaling out 11, so, well, technically 1d10 is going to be 5.5, so bare minimum, you should be doing that around for your high roll, whereas a D8 will do 4.5 and a D6 does 3.5. And how do you pronounce Edinburgh? This is gonna be some stupid ass name, probably. It looks like Edinburgh. But yeah, so because of that, these weapons will consistently do more damage. So that's something that you should, you know, take into consideration because of that. Like, even the war axe, it's a two-handed melee weapon. If you roll a 10, that's 24 damage immediately. Or even if you roll the average, 5.5 will round down to 5. That's still 19 fucking damage on one hit. So, yeah. I don't know anything about the UK, do you? You're blessed. I am happy for you. Well, sweetie, I mean, in the future, I might have to learn more about the UK, so I wonder why. But yeah, so because of that, you also notice that these things have, what do you call it? What do you call it? Wait, why? I know Finland's in a Nordic country, but also I know you said you wanted to move eventually, so who knows where you're gonna want to move. But, that's a future thing. I know you talk about Spain, but you don't know what's you're gonna want in the future, you know? I'd never move.
Good morning, motherfuckers.
Good morning, motherfuckers. Puke, puke, puke. Oh, you're so cute. Yeah, I never go there. I was there for half a year. Jeez. It's the worst place. Fair enough. Fair enough. I will take your word for it, love. Everyone in the UK hates the UK. I mean, everyone in America hates America. Like, also almost as bad as red states for. Well, yeah, that would do it. Yep, that would do it. Red state. I knew what you meant. Don't worry. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so you'll notice in this, what do you call it? In this weapons category that you have the qualities in the bottom. So you can see like the staff, two-handed, melee, no quality because the basic weapon. So, and then for stuff like iron knuckles, one-handed, melee, no quality. Then you have stuff like improvised range weapons, one-handed, range, breaks after the attack. On what do you call it? Unarmed strike, one-handed, melee, automatically equipped in each slot. Empty hand slot. It takes less amount of time to travel Ireland. I don't know where I want to go in the future. I genuinely want to leave America, but I mean, I currently have the funds to leave. Like, I'm not even joking. It's just needing to find a job. That's the problem. If I could find a job, then I would move in a heartbeat. But, what do you call it? So, one thing you'll notice about these weapons is, unlike D&D, there's no obvious quality or trait that says light or says can dual wield. And that's because in this game, any one-handed weapon can be dual wielded. So that means you could dual wield daggers, you could dual wield shuriken, you could dual wield rapiers, you could dual wield bronze swords, you could dual wield light spears, broad axes, iron hammers, fucking pistols. So the thing is, there is one downside to dual wielding. When you dual wield, you attack twice. So one of the attacks can miss. And also if one of the attacks hit, you do not add your accuracy modifier to your high roll. the high roll will always equal 0. So you're only adding the flat damage. Now, why is this a problem? Well, because of the fact you have to take into consideration the actual die that you are attacking with. Because, for instance, if you're dual wielding, let's say, iron hammers, you're doing 12 damage automatically from both hitting. But also, if one of your might die was a 6 or higher, so 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, that's a 5 in 10 chance, a 1/2 chance, you're doing the same, if not more damage. So what's the point of dual wielding then, if you still have that chance to do the same damage, if not more, and still wield a shield? Well, for instance, the broadaxe is an exception to this, because the damage it does is a 10. So because of this, with the 10, if you dual wield 2 broadaxes, you're doing 20 damage, just automatically. Meanwhile, if you just use one-hand broadaxe, you would have to roll that full 10 to get the 20 damage. So if you're going a strength build and you want to dual wield, taking 2 broadaxes is completely viable, and you could totally do that. Also, if you talk to your game master and see if you can spend your initial savings as well, you can also probably get some armor, because the main problem with dual wielding broadaxes at the start is the fact that it's going to cost your entire 500 zenith. So unless you have a decent dexterity die, you're not going to have the highest defense, because you're going to have no fucking armor. But that's on the next page. So, and also for the light spear, what do you call it? For that, it does 8 damage, so 8 and 8 if both hit, that's going to be 16. Meanwhile, you would need to have a d10 and a d8 die on this if you're not hyperfixating on having 2 d10s on making your might and your dex d10s. So because of that, if you get a high roll on your d8, at most you'll get an 8, so it's going to do the same damage as dual wielding 2 light spears if you roll the maximum on that 8. But if you roll a 9 or a 10 on your d10, which is a 1/5 chance, then you'll do the same, if not more. So you kind of have to take into consideration the odds of being able to do more damage or not. For instance, steel daggers, you kind of don't want to dual wield these simply because of the fact that you're doing 8 damage, but meanwhile your high roll die, if you're hitting, one of your die is going to be higher than 4, so you're going to do more damage. But there is a reason why you could still dual wield the steel daggers, and same thing with dual wielding pistols, for instance, for ranged, or shuriken for ranged. There is a reason for it, and I'll be getting into that later once I start discussing the classes. Let's go unemployment. If I could get a job in Finland or in just other places, I would move, like right now. I'm not even joking. I would move without a second of hesitation. Also, wonder why I said Finland first. Oh, herder. But yeah, so dual wielding does have its perks, and it most certainly can be really effective. You just, unlike with sword and boards, you do kind of have to build around it. It's not something where you could just do, you know. It's important that you build around dual wielding. Now, for armors, as you can see, for the armors, they all, for the most part, affect your initiative. They're going to reduce your initiative, so you'll be acting later. Because, I mean, to be fair, it's going to be, like, slightly more heavier, so because of that, you're going to be slightly slower. Don't know how Sage's Rogue gives you a -2, but then Travel Garb only gives you -1. Don't know, but whatever. But also, you can see, so all non-martial armors rely on your dex die. Some give you that +1, and then also your magic defense will also gain, you know, a +1 or +2 as well. For the martial armors, though, these just flat out override your dex die defense. So, for instance, Brigadine 10 defense flat, so that's essentially if you had a d10 dex, or Steel Plate at a 12, which 12 is pretty decent in this game, all things considered. So because of that, you're going to have, what do you call it? A much higher defense without really needing to worry as much about your dex die. Your dex can now become a dump stat. But also, the main problem with martial armor is they don't provide any real bonuses to your magic defense. except for the runic plate. In my opinion, I probably would definitely say go for the runic plate over steel plate, because you're taking one less to your initiative, and also you're getting a +1 to your... You're getting the +1 to your magic defense, and you're also not losing 4 to your initiative. You're only losing 3. So, and it's also 50 zenith cheaper, so it can more easily fit into builds. Just saying! But also, shields. Basic shields, you have the bronze shield, and then a runic shield. And the runic shield is martial. The bronze shield gives you +2 defense, while the runic shield gives you +2 defense, +2 magic defense. Just the fact that it's a flat increase, so good. Anything that can give you flat increases in this game is very, very good. And that's the basics with armor. Nothing too much. The game kind of relies on you using your theater of mind to reflavor these things. So for instance, your silk shirt, like they said before, it could be a kimono. The steel plate could be full plate. You know, stuff like that. Or it could be combat tunic, could be half plate. So you have stuff, you know, which I really like. And also this game does have like some classic classes that like, if you can't really decide on what you want to do, here you go. You have options. The game can just give you these kind of things. And what do you call it? It goes right into the classes. So, need more water. One thing you'll notice immediately is on this page, Arcanist, the first class of the game, goes into alphabetical order, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skills. But wait, Barry, I thought you talked about how in this game, you go up to level 10. You're only getting 5 skills though. No. That's not actually how it works. So for instance, you have these 5 skills to choose from, but also by each skill, you have this, a little plus icon with a number. That's how many times you can take that skill to increase the skill level, or SL as it's the abbreviation in this game. So for instance, let's say you go level 10 levels in Arcanist. You want to take 1 level into each of these if you want. You don't have to. So you go 1 level Arcane Circle, 1 Arcane Regeneration, 1 into Bind and Summon, 1 to Emergency Arcanium, 1 to Ritual Arcanism. And now you have 5 more levels that you can just put into whatever you want. So I'm going to put another point into Arcane Regeneration. So now that's at level 2. So Arcane Regeneration, when you summon an Arcanum, you immediately recover. Since this is now a 2, our SL becomes 2. So 2 times 5 hit points. So we get 10 free hit points. Pretty nice. For instance, Emergency Arcanum. Let's say we put 4 levels into this. As long as you're in Crisis, remember Crisis is half health. Cost for summoning your Arcana, which is the main gimmick of Arcanist, is reduced by skill level, which we have as 4, times 5 mind points. So that's going to be 20. So it's a 20 reduction cost. So it is important to level up particular skills that benefit your build, but also one thing you do have to keep in mind is that some skills, as you increase the skill level, costs do increase. So because of that, you do have to make sure that you upgrade certain skills at certain times, so that way you're not screwed over by increased mana costs. Or HP costs. Some skills do have HP costs. Well, I think like 2 of them do. But the whole point of the Arcanist is the JoJo character. Plain and simple. But it's a JoJo character. In JoJo, they used magic to fight instead of fists and guns and knives and shit like that. Do they use magic in JoJo? I don't know. Well, I know they have stop time, like Zawado. I haven't watched JoJo's. I really can't say anything about that. The main thing, which you kind of have to take if you go any level into Arcanist, is Bind and Summon. Fun fact, there's no failsafe to make it so you have to take this. It's just when you willingly dismiss an Arcanium, when you summon an Arcanium, the cost for summoning your Arcana, you may perform rituals of the Arcanism discipline. The only thing that you could take with level 1 that wouldn't immediately screw you is this. Yeah. In JoJo's? Yeah, in JoJo's. I've never watched JoJo, so I won't lie, I don't really know much. But yeah, so the main thing with Arcanist is your bind and summon. You may bind an Arcana to your soul and summon them later. The Game Master will tell you the details of each binding process. That's just talk with your Game Master about that. And it costs 40 mind points to summon them. Luckily, going Arcanist, even just one level, it permanently increases your mind points by 5. So even if you start with a D8 into willpower, not D8, D6 into willpower, level 5 start, so immediate 5 will points, permanent increase your max mind points by 5, so that's 10, 6 times 5, 30, you're gonna have 40, so no matter what your starting die is, you will have enough to bind and summon. So yeah, they use something called Haman, the first one, that's like channeled energy, and then after that they use stands, are like powerful manifestations of sort brought forward by these arrowheads that are crafted by blah 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 blah. Kind of like personas. Okay. Honestly, calling them persona would probably be a better way as well anyway. Yeah, like the best way to kind of call them is a persona. And also, fun fact, if you do a bind and summon, if you take this at any point that isn't character creation, you technically don't have a bind and summon. You have to create one. You have to find one. You have to quite literally find something to bind your soul to, so that way you have an Arcana to summon. But if you take this at character creation, you already have one. There are lots of different Arcanums that you can choose. 3, 6, 9. Yeah, there's 9 Arcanums. And each one can help facilitate specific playstyles. When you summon an Arcanum, you gain its merge benefits. Those benefits last until the Arcanum is dismissed. You cannot summon an Arcanum while already merged with one. You must first dismiss the current Arcanum. And an Arcanum can be dismissed in several ways. Once the current scene or fight ends, all Arcanas are automatically dismissed. If you die or fall unconscious, they are dismissed. If you leave the scene, they're dismissed. Or you could just say dismiss. The reason why this is important to know is because every Arcanum has, well, not every, but most Arcanums have dismiss effects. So if you turn off your Arcanum, all of a sudden you get a benefit. It can either be a burst bit of damage or just something that affects you or your team. For instance, Arcanum of the Forge, while, what do you call it? While you're merged, you have resistance to fire damage, and any fire damage you deal ignores resistances. Very great if you merge this with Elementalist, which is a class I'll get into later. When you dismiss it, you could choose Forge or Inferno. Forge, you create a basic armor, shield, or a weapon of your choice, and that's it. Or you could choose Inferno. Choose any number of creatures you can see. Each of them suffers 30 fire damage. This damage ignores resistance. So you just get a big burst of damage. Arcanum of the Frost is the same thing with ice damage. And then Arcanum of the Gate, what do you call it? The Oblivion is the same thing with dark damage. And then Warp, you teleport yourself and up to 5 other nearby willing creatures to a location you previously visited if that location is within 1 travel day. You just have a free teleporter. Why not? Arcanum of the Grimoire. Arcanum of the Grimoire can actually be used in a lot of interesting builds, and Arcanum of the Sword too. So Arcanum of the Grimoire, while you're merged, you could read, write, speak, and understand all languages, and your insight die is now 1 size higher. So because of this, if you have a D10 insight, congratulations, you now have a D12 insight. Yeah. You'll see why this becomes very strong later. I'll get into it later. Another one that I kind of am interested in trying to make use of is Arcanum of the Sword. Your attacks deal 5 extra damage, and all damage dealt by your attack is treated as having no type. So you bypass all resistances, but also you cannot take advantage of your enemy's weakness. You just deal 5 flat extra damage. This is really good if you dual wield, because if you do Sword and Board and you attack, you're only attacking once, and that means you're only doing 5 extra damage. However, if you dual wield, you attack twice, each of those attacks deal an additional 5 damage, you're now doing an additional 10 damage flat if both attacks hit. You kind of see where this is going already with dual wielding. Anything that can add additional effects to your strikes, you want. So because of that, if you dual wield those broad axes, which is already doing 20 damage if both hit, you're now doing 30. At level 5, that's usually half of the enemy's HP. Or a one-shot. Fun. Okay. Chimerist. Chimerist, I really don't understand how to feel about them. I don't really like them that much. Chimerist sort of is kind of like your druid, except you're not really a druid. I don't know, it's weird. You get 5 additional mind points just by going Chimerist, and you can perform rituals if they fall under the ritualism discipline. Basic stuff. But the weird thing is just the Chimerist's abilities. The Chimerist seems like they want to be a spellcaster, but they also want to be a frontliner at the same time. But they also like want to be a midliner at the same time. They don't like, they kind of having a bit of an identity crisis. But for instance, one of their abilities, Consume, after you deal damage to one or more creatures with a spell, if you have an arcane dagger or flail weapon equipped, you recover skill level times 2 mind points. So because of this, you're basically getting refunded on your spells. You're casting spells to be able to cast more spells. Feral Speech, you communicate with creatures of the beast, monster, and plant species. Honestly, situational by nature. If your campaign has a lot of those, take it. Pathogenesis, when you deal damage to one or more creature with one of your Chimerist spells, each of those creatures that share their species with the creature you originally learned that spell from suffers poisoned. That seems confusing, and it's because until you see their final skill, it is. And then the Ritual Chimerism is just a ritual ability. Spell Mimic. This is why I don't like the Chimerist, because this how they get their spells. Every other spellcaster has a spell list that they learn their spells from. Not Chimerists. When you see a creature belonging to the beast, monster, or plant species cast a spell, you may immediately choose to learn that spell as a Chimerist spell of your own. If you do, record the species of the creature you learned it from. When you first acquire the skill, choose Insight plus Willpower or Might plus Willpower, and then, yeah, you cast it with that. That's a very big problem, simply because of the fact that what if your campaign has no beast, monster, or plants that cast spells? What of it? All of a sudden now, you're a spellcaster with no spells. That's the problem with Chimerist. And because of that, you realistically cannot take Chimerist as your primary spellcasting class. It probably would be best to go 1 or 2 levels into this and take 1 spell mimic, so that way you can get a spell. You know, you don't want to get multiple, what I think at least is you don't want to get multiple skill levels into spell mimic until you're basically running out of slots to learn Chimera spells, because you may have up to skill level plus 2 different Chimera spells. So if you learn 2 Chimera spells, you still have 1 additional one that you can learn. So now take another level into spell mimic, so now you can learn another spell or another spell, you know. That's kind of the problem though with Chimeras, because you could go a long time without learning a spell, or you could fill up on spells within the first session. That's kind of the weird part about Chimeras, and it's why I personally just don't like them that much, because it revolves around you dealing with specific creature types that can or can't have what you need. You know? Also, I'm getting more water. That's why I personally don't like Chimerist. That's just me. If I ever played this character, I would just probably... Honestly, the main reason I would take Chimerist is just for a 5-level dip, so that way I could take 5 levels into Consume. Because after you deal damage to one or more creature with a spell, I just get 10 free mind points. Which, since there are some spells that only cost 10 mind points, all of a sudden those spells become cantrips, you know? So, yeah. You can probably talk to your DM about, or GM, my bad, about just starting with a spell or 2 from your spell mimic, but that's more GM dependent and you can't really rely on that. So, yeah. Chimerist is a weird class, for sure. Speaking of weird, Darkblade. Darkblade is the cool weird. They're your edgy, like Black Knight, Death Knights, executioners, stuff like that. They literally have a skill called Agony, and they have a skill called Heart of Darkness. That should tell you how edgy this class is. Well, yeah, you would say that, love. But what do you call it? Darkblade is also one of the classes that gain the ability to use martial melee weapons and martial armor. And also you get a free additional 5 hit points just from taking 1 level into the class. Agony takes, like, their Agony skill relies on a mechanic called bonds. When did I say I disagree? What the fuck? I just said you would say that. I don't disagree though. What do you call it? So bonds are basically positive or negative feelings towards a specific person, place, or thing. And with Agony, when you deal damage to one or more creatures, if you have a bond towards at least one of them, you recover skill level times 2 hit points and mind points. Basically, it allows you to just be a frontliner. The whole point of being a Darkblade is you're going to be a tank. I'm gonna lie, you're just gonna be a tank or a high DPS character. Dark Blood, as long as you're in Crisis, you have resistance to dark damage and poison damage, situational by nature, but still really nice to take up. Heart of Darkness, once per scene upon entering Crisis, you may choose a specific creature you can see that you don't have a bond towards, and you immediately get a bond of hatred towards them, which means you just want to kill their guts, you want to spill their guts, you want to kill them. And that also plays into Agony, where, oh wow, now this one creature has a bond of hatred. They have a bond. I can heal off them if I attack them. It plays off each other really nicely. Painful lesson: when you take damage, you can try study the enemy, so that way you can like learn your resistances, learn your weaknesses and stuff like that. The study action is actually something that one particular class utilizes as one of their main gimmicks, and honestly, considering how prevalent resistances and weaknesses are in this game, the study lesson's actually pretty good. You might think of it as just like a waste of a turn if you just study the enemy to try and learn a resistance or weakness. It's actually pretty good though, because if you can figure out the enemy's weaknesses, you could more easily kill them. Unlike D&D, where a lot of enemies don't have weaknesses or resistances, this game, they have a lot. Characters can also easily get weaknesses and resistances too. And, what do you call it? Shadow Strike. So Shadow Strike is the one ability that what's your weakness? Cute girls. Cute damage. So Shadow Strike is the one ability that I said that sacrifices your own HP. What do you call it? You just roll your might die, lose a number of HP equal to what you rolled, and then you can perform a free attack on a target, and if you hit, you deal extra damage equal to the skill level plus the number rolled on your might die. And also it makes the damage dark type. So yeah, I don't know if I'm weak to cute girls. You're weak to people that want to spoil you. Like, what do you call it? You're also weak to teasing. You're weak to teasing. You're weak to being spoiled. You're weak to anyone that takes control. You're weak to anyone dom in general. You're weak to anyone switch. You're weak to anyone bottom. You're just weak to any girl. You're just weak to girls, love. What are you weak to? What are you weak to? You're weak to not apologizing. You always over apologize. But am I wrong, love? I don't think I'm wrong in this. Also, what do you call it? Well, I don't think I'm wrong here. Also, guys, am I talking too fast or am I talking too slow? Like, let me know what you guys think so that way I can adjust myself properly. If I'm talking too fast, I can slow down. There we go. Water. Well, here, let me ask you guys this. What am I weak to? Oh, voice crack. Oh, voice crack. What am I weak to? I want to hear what you guys say. Yeah, so Elementalist is just your spellcaster, your aggressive spellcaster. Battle Mage, whatever, your Sorceress, Sorcerer. All their stuff is just do more damage. That's what they have. That's pretty much what it is. Like even Cataclysm, when you cast an instant spell, if you have an arcane weapon equipped, you may increase the spell's total MP cost by up to skill level times 10 mind points. If you do so, and the spell deals damage to one or more creature, it will deal 5 extra damage to each creature for every 10 mind points by which you increase its total mana cost. So this is how you make your weaker spells do more damage. Yeah. Each time you acquire the skill, learn one elementalist spell, all that kind of stuff. Magical artillery, when you cast an offensive spell, if you have an arcane weapon equipped, you get a bonus to your magic check. Your accuracy equals to skill level times 2. Yeah, so when you attack with a offensive spell, unless said otherwise, like how with the chimeras, it was might and willpower. For instance, elementalist is insight and willpower. My greatest weakness are probably head pats, physical attention in general. Anything even slightly dummy by girls. Yeah, for sure. I can definitely say that's probably it. Probably lots of other things like that. Oh yeah. Oh, wait till I visit and I give you like all the physical like affection. Love, I'm not kidding when I say like I am all about physical affection. So be prepared for me to cling on to you and quite literally never let go. Unless you ask me to. But yours, oh god, here comes the essay. Also, entropists. So entropists are entropist are I guess kind of like they're occultist sort of. I mean, I guess right here it also says like astromancer. They use the power of the stars, the cosmos and stuff like that in order to cast their magic, which I think is pretty cool. A lot of their spells have both positive and negative downsides. They have a spell literally called Gamble. You want to go gambling? There you go. Like, you roll a willpower die, and depending on what you roll, something happens. A majority of it is bad. A majority of it. But there is some good stuff. If you roll a nat 1, you lose half your current hit points and half of your current mind points. You're immediately put into crisis. Unironically, 1, what do you call it? It can actually, since it immediately put you into crisis, can be good for some builds. That's the funny part. I'm not even joking. So if your build is revolved around crisis, getting a 1 on gamble could actually be useful. Roll a 2 or 3, each creature present on the scene, including yourself and all your allies, suffers poisoned. Number 4 to 6, it's the same thing but slowed. 7 to 8, you choose up to 3 creatures you can see. Each of them recovers 50 HP and also recovers from all status effects. 9 plus, choose any number of creatures you can see. Each of them suffers 30 damage, and then you roll a d6 to see what the damage typing is. But the MP cost is up to 20, and the reason why this is important is because you roll a willpower die for every 10 points that you spend. So because of this, you can roll 2 d10s and just pick whichever one you want. So that's something that you could keep in mind. But yeah, so the whole point of Entropist is kind of be like a, from what I've seen at least, just a debuffer and a offensive kind of spellcaster in terms of like draining HP and NP from your opponents. They even have Drain Spirit and Drain Vigor, which drains mind points and HP respectively, so it's like, it's pretty good. The only thing I don't like about the Entropist, and virtually anything, everything puppet related, anything, even if it's a dying affection in general, physical affection, loot things almost good. Whatever. Sure. Okay. Okay. Sure. Whatever. I lost my train of thought. Like, that is a weakness. Like, no, I'm not getting old. I'm not. Nope. I'm not. Jeez. It's just suddenly hot in here. I don't know. It might just be me. Like, Jesus. I should just put a sign up that says "Don't flirt with the bottom" and put it on my forehead. Oh my goodness. I just want you to know, Rue, that you're causing me to kick with my feet. And, like, my brain's mushed. My brain's mushed. Like, did I admit? No, I did not. No, I don't think I did. Did I? No, no. Did I say that? Wait, my brain just turned off and went onto autopilot. Oh, great. And then Shavak's gonna clip it. Yay. Oh my god. Ay. Maybe. Okay, whatever. How many more classes do I have to talk about? I have quite a bit, actually. Yeah. Alright. So for now, I'll probably just start talking a bit about like some class combinations I want to try. And, what do you call it? And then as I talk about these classes, I'll explain like the skills. And the fact that I'm doing it on stream too, like, I think that's the worst part. Jeez. Like, I could be the most serious, tilted out of my mind, like, mood. And then you just start talking, all of a sudden my brain goes mush and I just become so happy. Or not even just, like, talking, just any message that comes from you just brightens my day like a million times more. Okay, so let me get back into talking. So one thing that I really want to do is I actually want to use a build that incorporates the Lore Master. The Lore Master, they're not a offensive or defensive class in any like bit of the imagination. They are a pure they're a pure support class. and they are made to kind of just like help with studying, like study checks, gathering information on enemies, on like learning stuff about the world around you, stuff like that. Usually it's during combat though. The whole point of the lore master is to try and study the enemy as much as possible, so that way you can learn as much as you can about it, so that way your team can build a effective strategy around it. That's the whole point of them. But the main reason I like the idea of the lore master, well, there's two reasons really. I really like their focused ability and their knowledge is power. The focus thing is really simple. Permanently increases your maximum mind points by skill level ×3, so you can have up to a maximum of 15. That's just great, and from going lore master you also get an additional 5. So because of that, you will get up to a maximum of 20, which is pretty good. And when you perform an open check using insight plus insight, you gain a bonus equal to the skill level. Open checks, I am still kind of trying to learn what they really are. There's not really much that goes into detail about what they are. But once I can figure out what those are, I will yap about them. So, what did I do? I believe you clipped it, did you? Oh no. Oh, jeez. Anyway, and one thing I also really like about the lore master is her knowledge is power. The reason why I like this so much is when you perform an accuracy check, you may replace one of the attribute dice with insight, such as insight plus insight for a pistol or insight plus might for a war axe. The reason why I like this so much is because this suddenly, if you take just one level start into lore master, now all of a sudden these weapons that were like, oh, dex plus insight, dex plus insight, dex plus insight, now all of a sudden become insight plus insight, insight plus insight, insight plus insight. So that means that you can just focus on insight, and congratulations, you're able to use that instead. Really nice. It is really nice. This also does mean that with like the might weapons, you can take a d10 into insight and then a d8 into might, so that way you can do kind of like, you could dump dexterity if you have a what do you call it, without really much concern about your defense. But hi Banana, how are you? Hope you're doing good. But yeah, so, and this also means that some stuff like dex plus might weapons become dex plus insight. So now all of a sudden a pure dex build who dumped might can also use the light spear now, or even use the heavy spear. So that also becomes really nice. And this also means that stuff like insight plus insight dual wielding is actually completely possible. And I find that really funny. Technically speaking, you didn't hear this from me, it's completely possible to go specialized, have 2 d10s, 1 d10 into willpower, 1 d10 into insight, and then your dexterity and might as your d6s, and be a perfectly viable melee character. I'm not joking when I say that. That's the worst part. I'm not joking. That is completely possible. Or even a ranged character. It's completely possible. Because all you need is martial armor proficiency, and you take one of these. Congratulations. It's got to work usually nothing really happens anymore. That's fair, that's fair. Also, one thing to kind of keep in mind also. One thing that I happened to talk about earlier, Arcanists have Arcanum of the Grimoire. You treat your insight as if it was 1 die size higher. This means, technically speaking, you can start with a d12 in your insight at level 5. So because of that, now anything that could be a insight plus insight weapon, all of a sudden you're rolling 2 d12s. Because why not? Because why not, right? So because of that, you could like quite literally dual wield a katana and have 2d12s plus 1. Oh, you're back, went to bed. Oh, you're on your phone right now? Mm-hmm. This also means stuff like the heavy spear if you have that d8 into dex, so it'd be d8 plus d12. So it's like, it's actually a really good thing to do. Also with crossbow, d12 plus d12 on a ranged weapon, or even for pistol too, d12 plus d12, which you could dual wield that too. Fun fact. Personally though, I would probably want to dual something else, but that's just me. But yeah, so that's what I really want to try from the lore master. So just taking one level into it, so that way I have that ability to. I have a few character ideas in mind that I kind of want to do. One character that can utilize this, so I would do 1 level lore master, 1 level, 1 level arcanist and take Arcanum of the Grimoire, or Arcanum of the Sword. Probably Arcanum of the Grimoire though. Go a dex plus dex weapon. And then my other 3 levels will go into... I have to go so far, oh my god. Why is that at the end? Weapon Master. So with Weapon Master, 3 levels into that, they're basically your melee attack focus class. They have melee weapon mastery where you gain bonus to your accuracy checks equal to the skill level. You have counter attack where if the enemy tries to hit you and misses, if they miss with a specific number, you can attack back. You have Bone Crusher, which can inflict status ailments on your enemies when you hit. Yeah, like weapon. The reason why I would want to do that is the character that I was thinking of doing. So it'd be 3 levels Weapon Master, 1 level Arcanist for Arcanum of the Grimoire or Arcanum of the Sword. And then do, what do you call it? 1 level into Lore Master for the use of Insight die on attacks. So that way, now what I can do is, with 3 levels into Weapon Master, put 1 into melee weapon mastery for the +1 accuracy check. Put 1 to counterattack, so when the enemy attacks me, if they miss with a certain number, I can attack back. And then also, I would want 1 level into Bone Crusher. If I'm dual wielding, Bone Crusher gains a lot more value, because when you hit 1 or more targets with a melee attack that would deal damage, you may have the attack deal no damage. If you do, choose one option: inflict dazed on each target hit by the attack, or inflict weak on each target hit by the attack. Or each target hit by the attack loses skill level times 10 mind points. So because of this, you can immediately inflict dazed and weak on the enemy by dual wielding on the same turn. There's no check for it. You just hit, and that's it. So because of that, it's a free, easy way to get dazed and weak on the enemy. So that's really nice. Which does play well with another class, which we'll be talking about. And also, what do you call it? This all plays into the fact that since we're dual wielding, we can do this, because if we were just single wielding, we could only inflict 1 at a time. I can say I had my first D&D campaign ended, everyone died except the bard. You're not allowed to bring your mute paper face warlock again. Yeah, I'm not really fucking surprised by that. I'm not surprised at all. Also, sweetie, check your DMs real quick. But yeah, so that's one thing that I was thinking about doing. Which basically the character would sort of be a soldier. I'll go down a classic soldier route, but they're more of a royal guard scenario where they had more specific specialized training, like an elite guard pretty much. They had more specialized training. They have a better education growing up, hence why the lore master part. And because of that, they kind of are like a, not really a servant, but just like a vassal. I think that's the proper term. Let me actually see. Let me look it up. Yeah, it'll probably be vassal. I think vassal will probably be, what do we call it? It would be the proper term for it. And, if I were to go a dual wielding route, I unironically, even though it's not optimal, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't give a shit about optimization in this game because every character is gonna be anime broken by the end of it anyway. I would wield a spear in one hand and a rapier in the other, and dual wield those. Have the rapier be my 2 insight die check, and then my spear be my dex plus insight. The reason why I would want this is for the additional damage from using a spear, and then the extra accuracy from using a rapier, so no matter what, I'm either doing more damage on a turn or I'm guaranteed a hit. So I kind of like that idea. Obviously, like I said, it's not optimized, because if it was optimal, I would use 2 rapiers. But frankly, I don't care. It's fun. I like it. And then another character I was thinking of that I would like to do is going down the Guardian path. Oh, 1 second. Alright, so one character I really want to also try is a Guardian primary class for the start. The whole point of Guardian is they're your paladin or just the defender, pretty much. The Guardian gains martial armor and martial shields proficiency, which you can see they don't gain martial weapons. But there's a reason for this. One of their skills literally lets them fucking dual wield shields as their weapon. You don't need an actual weapon with them. You just dual wield shields. Their accuracy is might plus might, so dump dex and utilize might. And the damage is high roll plus 5, but also deals extra damage equal to your skill level and defensive mastery. So you could scale up to 5, so that means you could potentially get up to 10 total damage. Defensive mastery, as long as you have a shield or martial armor equipped, all damage you suffer is reduced by skill level. Pretty nice, actually. It's really good. And then Fortress permanently increases your maximum hit points by skill level times 3, so you can have up to a maximum of 15. And then also one thing that I find interesting is the Protect skill. To protect, when another creature is threatened by an attack, spell, or danger, you may take their place. You may declare the use of the skill before or after attacks have been made. So quite literally, you just do a whole get down Mr. President or get down Miss President type shit. You just shove them out of the way and you take the hit. Also, if the danger already affected you, it affects you twice. So you can still protect your friend. You just take double the hit. So, like, I think it's really funny, just being able to do that. And the bodyguard thing, also if you perform the guard action, choose to provide cover to another creature, that creature gains resistance to all damage type. Yes. Like, just being able to gain resistance to everything so you take half the damage is crazy. Yeah, the whole point of the Guardian is to, well, guard your allies, and that's also kind of why I like it. And then the whole twin shield thing, it's hilarious. And also, you gain the benefits of both items. You gain the benefits of both shields. Like, I'm not even joking. One thing you can do, just have to go back for it. Steel plates. Okay. Steel plate. 300. Remember, you have 500 to start. 12 armor starting. Or 12 defense. Inside die is going to be your magic defense. You have an additional 100. 2 bronze shields. Plus 4. You have a 16. If an enemy rolls 2d8s for their attacks, they need both of them to be 8 to hit you. Assuming their weapons don't have accuracy modifiers. They need to roll an 8 on both of them. And what do you call it? Another thing is that what do you call it? If you manage to replace these with runic shields, that's +2/+2. And that's gonna be +4/+4. Because why not? One thing I personally would recommend, and is going back to the whole runic plate thing, I really do actually like the +1 onto your magic defense, since you're going to have a d8 a majority of the time into your magic defense. So if you're going a Guardian, unironically go runic plate, 1 runic shield, so that way now it's 400 and then 1 bronze shield. So now you have a +4 to your defense at the 15, and then you're getting a +3 to your magic defense. So then with a D8, that's an 11, which is very good. And you're also only taking a -3 to initiative, so I honestly think going the runic plate is better, because even though you lose the 1 defense, since you're dual wielding shields, your defense is going to be ridiculously high anyway. You should probably worry more about the magic defense. And then as time goes on, that's when we want to increase, we want to change our other bronze shield to another runic shield. Yeah. One thing you can also do is go bronze plate, which has the 11 but no +1, and then 2 runic shields. The 2 runic shields will give you +4, which actually, now I think about it, kind of does work a bit better, because 2 runic shields can be 300 plus bronze plate. Yeah, just actually go bronze plate and 2 runic shields. You get a +4, so now your magic defense is 12, and then as opposed to 11, and then also this stays the same between the two, so because of that you're getting a +4, so you're at 15. I just found a better way to optimize the start for my guardian character. But anyway, so I was thinking about going 4 levels into that, and then with 4 levels into guardian, what we can then do is I would go 1 level dual shield bearer, 1 level protect, 2 level defensive mastery, so that way I take less damage. And then also with protect, I can just guard my allies without needing to take the guard action. So I think that's really nice. And then 1 level, because you have to start with a multi-class. You have to. I was thinking of doing either 1 level Spiritist, because the character I was thinking would be a farmer. And if I do a Spiritist with a focused on like a nature oriented healing thing, because Spiritist is your healer, your cleric, pretty much, your priest, whatever. I could then go spiritual magic and then take heal. So because of this, I can quite literally, the target's up to 3 creatures, and you are a creature, so because of that you can heal yourself. So because of that you can literally keep yourself in the fight for a long time. And so if you do like, you know, D10 might, D8 insight, D8 willpower, you're gonna have a decent amount of like, you know, points to be able to pass these things. But also another thing I was thinking, if I wanted to go the pure martial route, was just to go down 1 level of Wayfarer. Wayfarer is another support orientated class, where the whole point of them is to basically be a traveler. So for instance, you gain 2 maximum inventory points, and now you're at 8. If you take 1 level into this. Resourceful, you recover skill level inventory points after each travel roll. So every time you travel, you gain 1 free inventory point. And with these 2 additional inventory points, you could conjure up more potions, which has the same effects. That way you can heal yourself. You could also go a Faithful Companion, which is the only way in this game to get a familiar. It'll only ever be level 5. So once you hit level 50, obviously it's not going to be that strong. But the whole point of the Faithful Companion is to give you someone that can fill in the role of what you don't cover, if that makes sense. So for a defender, you might want your Faithful Companion to do your attacks for you. But honestly, with Guardian, you have the dual shields, you probably don't. But with Faithful Companion, you can also have your companion guard someone else that you're not guarding. And you can have your companion be the scout. You can have your companion, if you're not in an area but something bad happened and your companion is there, your companion could go back and talk to you. It's basically D&D familiar stuff, you know, except unlike D&D, they can actually participate in combat for the most part. So I was thinking about doing that, maybe go down the resourceful part though. Do 4 levels Guardian, 1 level into this, because my character is a farmer who, for the majority of her life, has had a lust for adventure, and while she occasionally wanders into the forest on her own, she obviously doesn't go that far, but one thing that she does is she likes to protect others, and anytime that they have travelers come by and seeking refuge, she's always the first person to kind of say like, yeah, come in. you know, rest up. I got food for you, stuff like that. She's basically a goody two shoes, but in a cute way. I would like. I want to do that. That's kind of cute. And then also, I could explain the dual shield wielding thing by saying like, oh hey, she technically only has one shield in combat. Well, she has one shield, and then once combat started, she panicked, she freaked out, and went to go grab a weapon, but like from her house. But by the time she ran out of her house, she realized I have two shields, and then she just thought I can make this work. And now, congratulations, she's dual wielding shield. So it's a little silly, but I kind of want to do that. Like, and then also the D6 dexterity could be made like, what do you call it? The D6 dexterity could also be explained like, hey, she's a farmer and she's a klutz because she's just not a very dexterous person. She works the fields. She doesn't do lock picking. She doesn't use bows. She uses her her sickles, her hoes, and her watering cans pretty much. She doesn't really do anything dexterous, so because of that she has a really low dexterity. And since I'm going into more heavy armor, it could be more explained as just family gear that was passed down through the ages because one of her family members was an adventurer. So it looks more rusted and stuff like that, you know? Alrighty, I feel like we're playing the VOD for tonight for sleep aid. Is it making you sleepy? Is me just yapping over like for long periods of time just making you sleepy? Is anyone else feeling sleepy? I don't know. I feel like just... I mean, I know the whole point of the stream was me just yapping about what I want to do in this TTRPG, but like... Oh, jeez. I mean, I could just go really close to my mic and just start saying how proud I am of you all for making it through the day, how you all are very good boys and girls. But I don't have the ASMR mic for that. I kind of really want to do that, but I don't have an ASMR mic for that. Okay. But yeah, so... it's gonna be a spike in volume, but... Nuzzle. Well, I can actually add that as a redeem. Thanks, sweetie, for giving me that idea. I could add that as a redeem where I just nuzzle into the mic. Even if your first warlock dies, you still want to keep that thing that every new character is someone who wants to find and beat up my first warlock because you tricked them before. Totally could if you want. Why not? It's your story. Nuzzle. You're welcome, sweetie. Maybe I could add that as a redeem though. I think that'd be nice. But yeah, so that's kind of my idea for my second character. I kind of I like the idea of it. Obviously I don't know what I'm going to do. Another character I kind of also want to do is just go full on with the I'm not sleeping. I went to bed and got up at 7:30 to go to work. Jeez. When you have application first try, get the job, donate our life savings to Barry so it's good to get the A's. Please don't donate your entire life savings. If you want to help here and there, that's fine, but please be financially responsible and remember that all donations are not refundable because I don't want to be at fault. But another character also that I was thinking about playing would be starting at least, Spiritist and Tinkerer combination. So Tinkerer can go down the route of one of three specializations. Alchemist, or alchemy, so you can focus on making potions and bombs and shit like that. Infusions, so you focus on weaponry and stuff like that and make them stronger. You can make a fucking magic cannon, because why not? Or, well no, that's magic tech. Infusions are, like blade coatings, runes, ammo, stuff like that, and magic tech, which gives you your magic cannon. So the thing is, your gadgets, which is what allows you to make this alchemy infusions or magic tech, you have 5 levels of it, and each time you increase a level, you can go up from basic to advanced to superior in one of the invention types. So for instance, I'm gonna go gadgets, I choose alchemy, now I could create basic potions. These potions though do require inventory points, which luckily the Tinkerer does increase your maximum inventory points, which is really good. So since you're starting with 8, now you could, you know, create more potions. Really good. And then if you spend another point into gadgets and go down alchemy again, now I can make advanced mixes. And if I choose another one and go down alchemy, now I can go superior mixes. So that's the whole point. But you also notice that it's 5 levels. So because of that, you can't go down the superior route in everything. You can either go down the superior route in 1 and then the basic in 2, the superior route in 1 and advance in 2, or to advance in 2 and basic in 1. That's something you have to remember. For my character though, I would or just go advanced or superior in 1. I am just yapping about like a TTRPG that I'm getting into called Fabula Ultima. Also, hi 8, how are you? It's just a nice little relaxing stream that I wanted to do where it's just me yapping. And if you guys, want to talk about anything, you can. Just something that you could kind of unwind to, relax, listen to me talk, stuff like that. You're gonna be a paladin who wanted to find sacred texts that people like snagged from their palace to summon his patron in the first place. That'd be cool. Titty RPG. Jeez. Love, we'll roleplay with our titties later. Jeez. Why'd I say that? But, so the character I was thinking of doing would be, I would start probably 3 levels into Spiritist, or 2 levels, and then 3 or 2 into Tinkerer, and focus primarily on alchemy, so that way I can play a witch, pretty much. What does that even mean? I don't even fucking know. I just said it because I thought it would be funny. But yeah, so basically go down kind of like a potion creator, an alchemist. God damn it, Ace. Whatever. Good, I'm glad. And have it so I could flavor the spiritist like heal spells, barrier spells as just potions. Like, oh yeah, heal spell, I chuck a potion at you, it hits the ground, it explodes into a puff of smoke, you inhale the smoke, now you're reinvigorated, congratulations, you're healed. Barrier, I can weave a barrier to protect the target from attacks, so I could basically treat a target's defense as being 12. What do? Well, I just grab a clear potion, throw it at my ally, hits the ground, and then all of a sudden you just hear a little wow noise like it's Sonic the Hedgehog, and all of a sudden they're covered in a barrier. Everything can be a potion if you try hard enough. Enrage, cause a creature to lose any semblance of temper and act brazenly. I literally just throw like some kind of stink bomb at them. Enraged. So I could literally flavor all these things as just potions, which I think would be really cute. And then like, spending mind points to cast these spells. Well, she's using mind points, she's getting stressed out trying to create these potions in the midst of combat. So because of that, that's why spending her mind points, Or I could just also say mind points in her case is just like another resource of supplies for her. You could just flavor it. So I was thinking about doing something like that. I think that'd be really cute and leans really into the support role for sure. The main downside is going Tinker and Spiritist as your start does not really have the most offensive capable class combination. So because of that, I kind of need to make sure that I have something to fight with. Luckily, Lux is a spell, also a character in League of Legends, but Lux is kind of something I would be forced to take because each target hit by this spell suffers high roll plus 15 light damage. So that's just something I would have to take because the only damaging thing that Spiritist can have at the start. So I could go so I could go that, and then also healing power. When you cast a spell that targets one or more allies, if you have an arcane weapon equipped, you can have each of those allies recover additional hit points equal to the skill level multiplied by the number of bonds you have. So that can also add up really quickly as well. Then also the support magics, they could gain additional bonuses to their next check when you have a bond to them. And also, this Magus is very interesting to me because when you don't have mind points to pay for a spell, you could just spend hit points. But granted, it's twice the amount as the spell, so because of that, going Spiritist, you can make an argument for having a higher might die, for sure. If you want to revolve around this Magus. Definitely something you can do. It could also allow you to put yourself into Crisis more easily, so that way you can do Crisis builds with this. I'll look, what did you post? Kitty RPG. I'll look at that later. We may do a very cold and evil Azamar who is ashamed of her weak powers, told her soul to hell, and her new familiar very funny and lively because it constantly teases everyone. Make sure that everyone's okay with that. Because some people are uncomfortable with constant teasing by a familiar. That duo looking for a fool who went to hell, snagged some fancy dagger, and also to advertising hell to everyone, telling everyone who they meet to sell their souls to hell. Yeah, that you would definitely have to talk to your dungeon master about, because that sounds like Bagman number 2. But yeah, so I was thinking that would be like a really fun thing to do. And also, I mean, with Tinker, what's nice is the potion effects, you have to roll a d20, which is kind of annoying. The thing is, though, if you roll any effect that you don't want, you could just force it to do 20 poison damage or recover 30 hit points. So no matter what, you're gonna get some kind of beneficial effect. And also all these effects are all beneficial, so no matter what you roll, you're getting something, which is nice. And also the thing is, you have to roll 2d20s, and then the target of the die, you choose one of the d20s, and that die will affect the target, and then another d20 will affect this. The whole reason of the basic, advanced, and superiors is to roll more die, so that way you're more likely to get the effects you want. In my opinion, going down superior for this is never worth it. You should probably only ever go up to advanced. If I do decide also to focus on another invention type, I could also go down infusions, which could also fit into the whole poison thing, or potions thing, and she'll be like, oh, I'm starting to dabble in poisons. I'm starting to dabble in, what do you call it? Like, nature kind of brews and stuff like that to coat weapons into. So that could be a very interesting thing as well. I feel like that would also fit the, you know, the line of a witch, or a witch alchemist pretty well. But since I would also need 3 other classes, if I go down that route, I could also go down like a rogue kind of route as well. Go down lore master, which would be pretty cool. But since I already have 2 support classes, I should probably go a more damaging one like elementalist, and then I could be like, oh, Ignis, that does fire damage. I just chuck a potion that's a fucking Molotov. What do you call it? Fulgur, which is bolt damage, you know, electricity damage. I just throw a potion at someone, when it hits them, shot, you know? So elementalist would definitely probably be another potential multi-class option to go down for this. Lost Rocks, I think you'll be fine with it. That line, wait, what line did I say? Eh? Yes, that's another thing I can do. Also, another class I could go down for sure will be Wayfarer for the additional inventory points and resourcefulness to recover inventory points after each travel roll, which would help a lot considering that I'm going to be a alchemist. I'm going to be using a lot of inventory points. So going down Wayfarer would actually be really good. And then, depending on, what do you call it? Depending on what happens, it'd probably be best to go down the rogue tree. So what I could probably do is, what do you call it? No, is it the one, what do you call it? Oh, shut up. I could start Spiritist, Tinkerer, and then go down, depending on if I need to go more off, like aggressive, or not. I could go down either Elementalist or Wayfarer. Rogue also gives +2 inventory points, so that's also really good, but I feel like I'm going to be using a lot of potions so because of that. Making sure that I could get free refills is really good. So, and plus I'm going to have the luck spell, so it's not like I'm going to have nothing, you know? Where are you planning to play next since Gale of Darkness is finished? That's a great question. I have not decided, and that's why I have this stream where I'm just yapping, because I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to play next. but we'll figure it out. But yeah, so I probably would do that. And also, being a ranged attack versus a melee attack does not matter, because in this game it plays sort of, well not sort of, well yeah, sort of similar. The combat works like Final Fantasy, where anyone can hit anyone. You just have to wait for your turn to make your actions. So because of that, being melee or being ranged does not actually really matter. It just matters for your class abilities. No matter what, you could get hit. So making sure your allies guard you is actually very important. Fun fact. What do you call it? So because of that, I still would, since I'm gonna be focused on insight for Tinker, I probably would be best to do willpower 8, dex 8, might 6, insight 10. That'd probably be the best I could do, because my spellcasting is willpower plus insight. So because of that, having a d10 there is perfectly fine. Also, I probably would want to make sure I have the tomb. Or I could also use a steel dagger. Because it has insight plus dex plus 1, which has the same effect as 2d10s, fun fact. But also it's more consistent. So I could probably do that. Have a nice dagger. But the thing is, I know there's some stuff that wants arcane gear. So because of that, I probably will have to go tomb. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. And then for armor, probably we could just go sage robe. Because if I go the tomb, that's 100 gold. Sage robe, 200 gold. That's 300. We're still fine. I just hate how both these are two-handed. Because I know for Spiritists, they have an arcane weapon equipped. Thing is, like, the main problem is healing power. Unless you actually use wands, it's not really too effective. I also believe Elementalist can work with daggers. No, arcane weapon equipped. So I would need an arcane. So I would need a staff, yeah. So if that's the case, or tomb, because in this case, since I'm focusing on insight, yeah, I would want a tomb. At least it would be 2d10s, and the damage is pretty decent. I would assume attacking with a staff or a tomb, you could quite literally flavor it as just bonking the enemy with it, or just casting a cantrip. That probably would be the best way to look at it. You're just using a cantrip, nothing special. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Well, that's one of the reasons why I love working D&D. Eldritch Blast is 24 squares long, no anything to escape your blast. Also, if you get, there's one invocation that makes it even longer. So, there's that too. Gee, sorry. Fun fact, actually. I need water before I say my fun fact. There we go. Fun facts. With the 2024 Warlock, 1 level dip into Fighter, and put the rest into Warlock, go Pact of Blade. You're now more effective than an Eldritch Blast Warlock. Yeah. Fun fact. Probably wondering how. Well, I could explain it because I have this opened right here. Of course I do. So the reason why is with 1 level dip, you get Fighting Style, Second Wind, and Weapon Mastery. The Second Wind is for healing. We don't care about that too much. The Weapon Mastery is what we care about. For Fighting Style, we go 2-weapon fighting, so we could dual wield. And then with Weapon Mastery, we make sure we take Short Sword and Scimitar. So that way we have a Vex weapon and a Nick weapon. So now, because of that, we can now immediately attack twice. We go down. For the ones that make your blast stronger by a charisma, and others that push them. Well, yeah, that's literally just every fucking Warlock build in existence. I'm not even joking. Like, almost every Warlock build, if you're a spellcaster Warlock, you're doing that. So, yeah. This build, though... Sorry, I'm turning on the light in my room remotely, so I have to turn off my camera. This build, though, is very unique in the fact that it does not follow that. To have an update to hydrate where instead pours water on berry. Maybe I'll have it so when I do my 3.0, if you redeem hydrate, it also pours water on my model. I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, so now because of that, we can attack twice already. And each of them can benefit from Hex. So you Hex 2d6, 2d6, plus Dex, because this build we will be using Dex. So obviously not focusing on Charisma does kind of suck, but also with Warlock, you can focus on Dex and be completely fine because Warlock has enough spells where you could just focus on buff spells to yourself and you'll be fine. So because of that though, yeah, it's gonna be plus Dex, which is already better than one single Eldritch Blast with Hex, because the double weapon, 2-weapon fighting is going to be 3.5 average plus 3.5 average. That is going to be 7 plus 3 dex plus 3 dex. That is 6. That's going to be 13 damage on average. Meanwhile, the Eldritch Blast is 5.5 damage on average plus 3 charisma. That's 8.5. You're already doing a lot more damage with dual wielding. When you get your second Eldritch Blast, that's going to be 11 plus 11 from the dice. 7, that's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's 24 damage if you have Hex. When you get your second attack with Hex Blade, that's going to be 2, 4, 66. So that's going to be 3.5 times 6. So that's 30. So 30 there. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 damage from the weapons on average with Hex. Plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. Well, actually at this point it would be plus 4. But that doesn't matter. We'll just still play plus 3 for just consistency's sakes. Plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. So that's plus 9. That's 30 damage. You're still doing more damage than a Eldritch Blast Warlock. Level 9, also you gain another invocation, where now each time you hit an enemy with your packed weapon, you do an additional d6, so that's going to be 3d6 plus 2d6 plus 2d6 to the Nick property. And also this is not taking into consideration the fact that at level 4 Warlock or level 8, you can also take Dual Wielder, so that way you can attack an additional time with your bonus actions. That's going to be 4 attacks at level 5, all able to go under Hex. And then also at level 11, you can attack another time with your packed weapon. That's going to be 5 attacks, each benefiting from Hex, each benefiting from Dex. One of those attacks also getting, another effect of the, I believe it's called, let me double check. Yeah, the Life Drinker, so that's the additional d6. And also, all of these attacks, if any of them crit, all 5 of these attacks, Eldritch Smite. So at that point, we'll be expending one of our die, so that way it does an extra 1d8 force damage to the target, plus another d8 per level of the spell slot. So since it gets doubled on a crit, with a level 5 spell slot, that's going to be 5, so that's going to be 6d8, doubled into 12d8. Why are we going Eldritch Blast again? Oh yeah, because every Warlock just wants that. Oh yeah, also, another fun thing that you could do, which honestly, I really want to do, this is actually a build I kind of want to do, go down Fighter, okay, 1 level dip into Fighter, again, Fighting Style with the new Great Weapon Fighting. The reason why we want to do the new Great Weapon Fighting is because, as you can see from here, when you roll damage for an attack you make with a melee weapon that you're holding with 2 hands, you can treat any 1 or 2 on a damage die as a 3. On a damage die. You could treat any 1 or 2 on a damage die. Your attack does not specifically, the damage die does not specifically need to come from the attack. As long as the damage is part of that attack, it qualifies for Great Weapon Fighting. So because of that, now, if we take that into consideration, if we take a great sword, that's going to be 3d6 on a hit because of Hex. All of them can't go below a 3, plus 3 from Charisma, because we can go Charisma on this build, or Strength. I would actually recommend casting, fighting with Strength, so that way, because of the 1 level dip into Fighter, you get heavy armor proficiency, so that way you don't need to worry about Dex, so that way you can just worry about Strength and Charisma. So now, with that, also from going to 1 level dip into Fighter, you get proficiency in Constitution saving throws, so the enemy's gonna have a harder time breaking your concentration on your hex. So with this in mind, though, now we can. Sorry, oh my god, like I'm talking so much. So now because of this, we can't roll below a 3 on any of those 3d6s. So because of that, we're guaranteed 12 damage on a hit, compared minimally, no matter what, compared to the Eldritch Blast, which minimally will only do 5 damage to the hex. We're taking consideration hex and all of these attacks here. Then level 4, the reason why you want to go strength is so we could go great weapon fighting, which now adds a proficiency bonus into damage. Once we hit level 5 total now, we're going to be adding a +3 to all of our damage. So now it goes from 12 minimally to 15. So that's right there. And then also at level 5 Warlock, now we attack twice, each of them doing 3d6. So because of that, all of them cannot go below a 3. So 3, 3, 6, 9, so 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 damage minimally that we are hitting. That's if we roll a 1 or 2 or a 3 on all of our damage die, no matter what. Also at this point, we can now immediately start adding the potential of Eldritch Smite. So, one thing that's really interesting about the wording. Eldritch Smite. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with your pact weapon, which is going to be our greatsword, you can expend a pact magic spell slot to deal extra 1d8 force damage to the target. You're hitting with the weapon. So because of that, the damage is coming from hitting with the weapon. Technically speaking, from wording, you are able to qualify for a great weapon fighting with this. Because it's an extra d6 to the target. Or extra d8. Bleh. So because of that, your Eldritch Smites can't roll below a 3 either. And I also talked to my DM, who is a forever DM and kind of knows shit like this. And with the wording, he said that he also agrees with me that, unfortunately, he has to rule in the favor of all those who become a 3 immediately. So then, when you have 3 attacks, all doing 3d6, plus strength, plus proficiency bonus, by level 12, mind you, level 12 total. So at level 12, you're looking at 3d6 plus 3d6 plus 3d6, plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, plus at this point, you're also going to have plus 5 strength, so plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, 5, 10, 15, 19, 23, 27, 3, 6, 9, 9, 18, 27. You're doing, like, what, like over 50 damage minimally? Meanwhile, with 3 Eldritch Blast and Hex, and an Agonizing Blast, minimally, you're doing 1, 2, 3 damage. That's it from the die if you roll 1s. What do you call it? Plus 5 Charisma, that's 8. Plus 1 from Hex. Well, plus 3 from Hex. 11 damage minimally. So can I play Strength Warlock, please? on my next D&D campaign? The main reason why you want to go Strength is for the heavy armor, so that way you can go down the plate mail, and then also so that way you can sorry, I'm having a brain fart. Go down plate mail, and then also so that way you could get great weapon fighting. First Warlock died at level 4, jeez. But yeah, so that's just a character that's always been in the back of my mind. And then, what do you call it? If you take the 1 level fighter dip, you're probably thinking, oh, but if I go down Great Weapon Master or Great Weapon Fighting, I'm not going to be able to have the +1 defense from the defensive fighting style, so I'm going to be stuck at 16, so I'm going to get a hit actually pretty decently. For your weapon mastery, we're going to purposely take a very specific weapon for this. We are going to be taking, since it's a 2-handed weapon, the Maul. The Maul, not the Maul. Is it Maul? Oh, where is it? There's a specific one. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It was a specific English. Specific two-handed. Because I know that has it. Push. So many weapons. Wait, 1 second. Damage die should be on a 2d6 scale. Did they change Maul? I thought they used to have push. No. There's something else that had push. I'm forgetting what weapon it was. Am I stupid? Well, I know Warhammer has push, so we could use that, but because it also has the versatility property, so because of that we can. Push. Pike. Might have been Pike that I was thinking of. I feel like I'm forgetting something though. That had... No, the Maul did have push. Maul property changed? I don't think that ever had topple. What am I thinking of that also had push that was two-handed? Besides Pike, there was another push I was thinking of. There was another two-handed weapon that had push. Well, either way, you can use the Pike. Which weapon was I thinking of that had push? I'm pretty sure it was Pike. No. There was a 2d6 weapon that had push. I know there was one. Wait, D&D push property weapons. I might have been looking at the Maul before it's got officialized. Maybe. Well, either way, with this we can still use the if this will delete. We can still use the Warhammer as that has the push property, which the push property... Wait, page stopped working. With the push property, we still can push enemies back. Utilizing, well, the push property could move enemies 10 feet back. Also, another thing that we could do anyway is at level 4 with feats, instead of going Great Weapon Master, we simply go down, where is it? The Crusher feat. Crusher's +1 strength, and also once per turn when you hit a creature with an attack that deals bludgeoning damage, you can move it 5 feet to an unoccupied space. So because of that, you can push the enemy back 5 feet and then hit and run. You just have to survive 1 level. Well, 2 technically because you're multi-classing. But yeah, so because of that, you could do that. You can also go down Warhammer, since it has the versatility property, and push enemies back that way. So you have options. But yeah, so that's something you can do. You could also just go a Vex weapon, which I'm pretty sure there is a two-handed halberd that has Vex. No, not two-handed halberd. If you go down the 2-weapon fighting build, that will have Vex, so you can crit more often. I don't know why I said halberd. But yeah, so that's something that you could totally do. And also one thing I do want to point out, Vex is broken on paladins. It's just broken. Because of the fact that with paladins weapon mastery, you get 2 properties, go rapier, and now all of a sudden, if you hit one attack, all of a sudden all attacks go at advantage now. So because of that, now you just have an increased chance to crit. Because why not? Also, Divine Smite does benefit from Grow Up and Fighting as well, because the target takes an extra 2d8 radiant damage from the attack. Since this says from the attack, that does mean that Grow Up and Fighting does benefit Divine Smite. So, yeah. Wanna be a destructive paladin? There you go. But, okay. With that being said, I do think that's enough yapping out of me today. My voice is starting to get very strained and I have work tomorrow. Thank you all very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for just letting me have this kind of a stream where I just talked about my hyperfixation of TTRPGs, specifically Fabula Ultima and D&D a little bit at the end there, because those are both games that I hold really dear to my heart and I love very, very much. And also, I didn't know what the fuck I was going to play today, so doing this was just very, very nice. Nice change of pace, you know? And hopefully I can do something like this, but with ASMR kind of vibes in the future. But for now, thank you all very much for stopping by. I will say this, stream on Wednesday, but no other stream this upcoming week. Because if all goes well, I will be visiting my family tomorrow. Not tomorrow. This weekend coming up. Why did I say tomorrow? So because of that, I won't be around on the weekend. But I'm still going to be trying to stream on Wednesday. And with that being said, thank you all very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. And no family vlog stream. I mean, I'll probably do pictures and stuff like that. And maybe some small recordings that I'll post on, what do you call it? On YouTube. Not YouTube. On Blue Sky. So make sure you follow me there. But with that being said, I will see you all next time. Bye bye. Bye 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 bye.